Hi, I'm Isabel and I'll be telling you about some behavioural modification techniques that you can use to quit smoking. Why quit smoking? Tobacco smoking is one of the largest preventable causes of death and diseases in Australia. It is also associated with an increased risk of health conditions like cardiovascular, lung and cancer diseases. The first step for quitting smoking is, to believe it or not, make the decision to engage in self-management. If you're watching this video, you've most likely done this already, so great job. The next step is to define the competing behaviours of smoking. For example, you could increase smoking cigarettes while drinking alcohol, or if you're in a stressful situation. The next step is to define some overall goals for quitting smoking, like, for example, being healthier. During this time, it is also important to make sure you tell your loved ones about these goals and your desire to quit smoking so they can encourage you and give you social support and reinforcement through this life-changing time. Once you have defined the competing behaviours and goals, it is time to self-monitor your behaviour. How to self-monitor? You will need a recording sheet and a functional assessment sheet. A functional assessment sheet will have the date, the time, the location, who is present, what happens before, what happens afterwards, and any relevant comments. You should fill out a functional assessment sheet every time you smoke to better understand what triggers this unhealthy behaviour. It is also important for you to record the number of cigarettes smoked per day, and this is as easy as writing it down on a piece of paper or perhaps in your mobile phone. The next step is to record the baseline, which means recording the behaviour of smoking for a week or two so you can compare and watch your progress when self-monitoring methods are applied. During the baseline, try to stay true to how you would normally behave in your environment and don't try to change anything because this will be used for your progress. It is very important to fill out the functional assessment sheet during this period so you can understand your smoking behaviour better. So, you've recorded the number of cigarettes smoked and filled out the functional assessment for 1 to 2 weeks. Fantastic! Let's begin with the strategies you can use to quit smoking. The first method that I would recommend would be try to set some achievable goals per week or per day. This would be based on the baseline results. So for example, maybe your baseline results showed that you smoked an average of 15 cigarettes per day. Your achievable goal could be to decrease the number down to 13. You don't want your goal to be unrealistic as that does not help you in the long term. So remember, you are slowly trying to decrease the number of cigarettes smoked. The second recommendation would be to use nicotine replacements, for example, nicotine chewing gum. If you don't like the flavour or chewing gum, choose something else that you like. Every time you feel the need to smoke, try chewing a piece of nicotine gum or something else that appeals to you. The third method I would recommend to use is get one of your friends or family members to give you social support and encouragement. They could give you praise if you stick to your achievable goal or remind you of these goals when you don't stick to them. The fourth method is to put all the money that you have saved by not buying cigarettes into a jar per week, which you can use to buy anything you want, except for cigarettes, of course. The fifth method is to try manipulating the environment. Like if your functional assessment sheet is repetitive during the baseline, for example, maybe you only smoked while drinking alcohol or while at a certain place or with a certain person or in a certain mood, try to manipulate this in some way. Now it's time to test these methods out. Continue to self-monitor and record while applying these methods for 2 more weeks. If after these 2 weeks, none of the self-management techniques are right for you, it's time to reevaluate, change them if necessary, and start the modification period again. The most important thing is to never give up, and if you don't achieve the goal for the week, don't worry, try again next week.